That's what was stated by the great Imam Abu Zur'a al-Razi. He said, rahimahullah ta'ala, when they mentioned the books of Al-Karabisi to him, and he said, Inna hadhihi al-kutub bid'a wa dalala. These books of this man who had some of the taint of the Mu'tazila with him, and who spoke not from a religious standpoint, didn't speak quoting what is in the Quran and the Sunnah about the affairs of the heart and so on and so forth when he talked about those matters, and in how to motivate the person, and he spoke in length about these issues. And he didn't speak from the Quran and the Sunnah. Imam Ahmad, they said that he sat behind a wall when they told him about Al-Karabisi. He sat behind a wall to listen to him speak. And when they came and they saw Imam Ahmad rahimahullah ta'ala, he was weeping because of the effectiveness of this man's speech. And so his students, they asked him about him. He said, do not take anything from him. فَإِنَّ كَلَامُهُ لَا يُشْبِهُ كَلَامِ الْعُلَمَاءِ, because he doesn't speak like the scholars speak. He doesn't speak with the speech of the scholars. His usloob, he has a new way of speaking that is not connected to what the Prophet ﷺ came with in the Kitab and the Sunnah and what the Salaf were upon. His way of speaking is not like that. Don't be affected by such people. We know the many narrations in which the Salaf used to forbid the youth and forbid the people from sitting with the storytellers, to the point that it was by law in many of the Amsar and many of the cities and territories of the Muslims in the time of the Salaf that the only people who could tell stories, who could narrate stories in the public gatherings and in the masajid were people who were sanctioned by the rulers and by the scholars. Otherwise, you have edutainment. Otherwise, you have people who are kullu man yajlis yujlas ilayhi. Everybody who sits down can find an audience. That's a problem with YouTube today, right? Everybody who sits down can find an audience. And so, Abu Zur'a al-Razi rahimahullah ta'ala, he said about the books of Al-Karabisi, he said, Inna hadhihi al-kutub bid'atun wa dalala. These books are nothing but misguidance and innovation. This is something new. These books are nothing but misguidance and innovation. You don't find haddathana. You don't find that the narrator is saying haddathana. And this is al-asr al-dhahabi. This is the golden era of hadith. You could trip over a hadith scholar walking to the masjid. How don't you have haddathana in your book? How is there no haddathana? So-and-so reported to us from so-and-so, from so-and-so and so-and-so, to the companions or to the salaf or to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You don't find any of that, but just paragraph after paragraph after paragraph without a ayah, without a hadith. Just a speech of some dude, some rando. Right? And so he said, Inna hadhihi kutub bid'a wa dalala. These books are nothing but innovation and misguidance. They said, Inna fiha. They said, indeed, in these books is an ibrah, an i'tibar. And these books, they have morals and lessons that you could draw from them. They motivate and move the heart of the person and so on and so forth. Abu Zur'a, he said, Man laysa lahu fi kitabillahi ibra, laysa lahu fi hadhihi al-kutub ibra. A person who is not motivated and moved by the book of Allah, who doesn't learn lessons to benefit themselves, their self and their life from the book of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, is not going to learn it from these random books. It's not going to learn it from those random books. Let the Muslim do that. Let them look at the wa'ad and the wa'id of Allah, at the promise and the threat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The promise of Allah for the people of truth, who learn the truth and practice the truth and carry out the truth and call to the truth and advise one another according to the extent of their knowledge. Let them look at the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those people and the happiness that they find in their lives. And let them know that that is where guidance is found.